Hi, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Books and Beaches. So it is really hard to believe, but it is already time to talk about the last month of book releases for the year, and that is December new book releases. So I actually thought that this list would be a little bit shorter than it actually is because, it's the end of the year. I figure most things have already published, but it turns out there's actually still quite a few new releases coming out in December that I wanted to share with you. So per usual, I'm going to split this up by release date. I believe in December we actually have 5 release dates. Some are definitely more heavily weighted than others, but there are still plenty of books that we can talk about coming out of the month of December and, to kind of finally wrap up what has been a really great 2024 when it comes to book releases. So let's go ahead, jump in and get started. Our very first release date for December is December 3rd. And we have quite a few books coming out on December 3rd. The first one being that I found was Buried Road, and this is by Katie Tallow. Now, I don't believe I have read anything by this author, but now that I'm looking at this, and I always have my computer with me, I'm sure you guys are used to that by now, but if you're new around here, yes, I do look at my computer to give you the best synopsis possible, because if I tried to memorize these, we'd be in trouble. But it says this is going to be an edge-of-your-seat thriller, and it is the follow-up to Dark August and Poison Lilies. So it says Gus Monet, I'm going to assume, and her daughter embark on a perilous road trip to find a missing person. So I am not quite sure if you need to read all of these in a row. I'm going to assume you do. It's not recognizing this one necessarily as a series, because usually Amazon's really good about putting in the series, but it does say in this description, this is the heart-pounding, soul-crushing, shocking finale. So I wouldn't doubt you have to read all 3 of them, so I'm not going to go too much into detail, but as always, these will always be linked down below if you are interested. So that's the first one. After that, I found The Close-Up, and this is by Pip Drysdale. Once again, with authors' names, you just never know. But it says this is going to be based on a struggling author that discovers the dark side of fame when a stalker begins reenacting violent events from her thriller, the one she wrote, and it's going to be an electrifying and twisty new novel. So that one definitely caught my eye. I'm a sucker for a good thriller. And so, yeah, I loved Taylor Adams' The Last Word, which was, an interaction between a writer and their reviewers. And so this one is giving me kind of those vibes, except the stalker, obviously it's slightly different plot points, but just similar where you're getting a reader responding to your book. So that's kind of interesting. All right, after that, we have Deadbeat, and this is by Adam Hamby. Now, I don't think I've read anything by this author, but it says this author wrote The Other Side of Night. So this is going to be a thriller following a desperate single father as he searches for the anonymous employer who hired him as a hitman. So there's a concept. Like I said, when I'm looking for these, I'm trying to find an array of different things, but obviously thrillers are always going to catch my mind. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't want to give too much away because I think sometimes a synopsis, whether it's on the back of the book or on Amazon, is going to give you too much. And so I am going to keep these short and sweet and to the point. So yeah, if you're curious on why he got hired as a hitman, let's check this. You'll have to check this one out. After that, I have Havoc, and this is by Christopher Bolin. Sorry, had to look that one up. And so this one says it's going to be twisty, atmospheric, and psychological. Hello, buzzwords. And it's a suspense about a meddlesome elderly guest at a decadent luxury hotel who believes she has left her problematic past behind until she decides to interfere in the lives of a young mother and her 8-year-old son and finally meets her wicked match. So yeah, who knows where this one is going to take us. And the tagline here says, "The war between age and youth has never been so vicious." So I don't know exactly what we're going to get into on that one, but it could take you for a wild ride. So there's that one. Also coming out on the 3rd, I found some romance pics, and this one caught my eye because of the cover. Who doesn't love Wordle? But I mean, I'm sure there's somebody, but you know what I mean. And this is a 5-letter word for love. This is by Amy James. Now, there's a lot of these that I've probably never heard of the author before, but that is the fun thing that I love about these new release videos. And this says it's going to be a heartwarming and humorous romance in which an unlikely couple fall in love over Wordle. So the book is based on Wordle. Go figure, that cover made sense. So let's see. Actually, this person has a 300-day streak on Wordle. That's pretty impressive. So it says, as they make their way word by word towards a 365-day streak, Emily is drawn into a surprising romance that will take her outside of her comfort zone and challenge everything she thought she knew about happiness, success, and love. So just kind of a sweet little romance to add for the end of the year. After that, this one definitely caught my eye because of the description, and this is Pickup by Nora Dahlia. And so it was compared to like rom-coms of Christina Lauren, love that author duo, and Kate Claiborne, which I can't remember if I've read anything by Kate Claiborne, but it's going to be an enemies to lovers romp. It says, whisking us from the stress of city life to a lush Caribbean beaches. So you know, when I saw the word Caribbean beaches, this one was going on the list no matter what the rest of the plot was. And so I don't want to know too much more. I mean, in December, I would love to go to some Caribbean beaches. We got snow today here in Wisconsin. The kids at school were freaking out. I don't know how many times I heard in the hallway, "Oh my God, it's snowing." And it was like, you know, the big fluffy snow. So I would love to go to some Caribbean beaches right now. So there's that. All right, after that, one that I feel like I've seen kind of bouncing all over is P.S. I Hate You. And this is by Lauren Connolly. So it says it's going to be a bittersweet romantic comedy. Good Lord. Okay. Romantic comedy. There we go. Enemies forced together by a mutual loss are led on a cross-country journey towards a second chance. So, you know, keeping it short and sweet here, but who knows? This one actually says it has a snowstorm in it. So, yeah. Oh, and it might have something to do with somebody. She's honoring her older brother's dying wish, that he scattering his ashes over 8 destinations, but she has to do it with his like best friend. So there's that. I'm sure we all know where that one is going. All right, after that, a YA release that this author is always on kind of my, you know, YA radar, and this is The Party by Natasha Preston, excuse me. And so it says, we are going to be set in the English countryside, and friends are gathering at a remote castle for a secret party destined to make this the best spring break ever. But when the first of them dies, the party takes a lethal turn. So I am thinking this might be like a and then there were none kind of situation, because it says the body count is going to begin to rise and they're trapped inside with a killer. So it's set against the backdrop of a sprawling English estate. This latest thriller will keep you on the edge of your seat until the party is over. So I do really enjoy Natasha Preston. I actually have like a whole thing of hers right there. So yeah, I really do enjoy her books. So there's that. And then the final one that I found coming out on December 3rd would be The Last One, and this is by Rachel Housel Hall. Now this one is quite the edition. It's beautiful, but I'm almost positive it's not just the special edition. I think it is actually this full book, and this is The Last One. And so let's see, it says it's a romantasy debut from this author. So I know she has other genres she's written in, but this must be her romantasy debut. And let's see. Ooh, yep, looks like we're going to kind of have a made-up kingdom. And it says, no one is what or who they appear, including the man whose secrets might be as deadly as the land itself. So, yeah, I never want to give too much away about a romantasy, because with the whole fantasy aspect, like, I don't read a lot of romantasies. So if you're interested, this one will be linked below. And those are all the books I found coming out on December 3rd. All right, our next release date is December 10th. And once again, we have quite a few books coming out on December 10th. The rest of the month, goes down from here, but plenty of books to talk about for this release date. The first of which was Pretty Dead Things, and this is by Lillian West. Now, the title caught me right away, obviously, but it says a bride-to-be's discovery of a long-lost wedding ring, or rings, excuse me, and an estate sale reveals the key to a decades-old cold case in a small-town mystery perfect for fans of Louise Penny. Now, I have never read Louise Penny, but I know they are very, very popular. It's probably something I should look into picking up, but that was definitely what caught my eye. I think we're going to have two different timelines here. We have a 2014 timeline and a 1953 timeline, so I do love like a dual timeline kind of story. And it says, this engrossing novel exposes one family's secrets and the twisted lies that are hidden in small towns. So definitely caught my eye on that one. All right, after that, we have a book that I know a lot of people are talking about. I think it's even predicted to possibly be a book of the month pick, but those haven't released yet, so I can't tell you that. And this is What the Wife Knew, and this is by Darby Kane. I know a lot of Darby Kane's books have already been book of the month choices, so there's that. This is going to be a domestic thriller about a wife wondering who tried to kill her husband twice before finally succeeding. That's a lot. Because that was supposed to be her job. Well then, not only is she trying to figure it out, but she was supposed to kill him. So, don't want to read too much more into that one. I feel like that one is best left like in that description. So if you are a fan of Darby Kane, we have another one coming out on the 10th. All right, this one definitely caught my eye because of the title, and this is How to Get a Life in 10 Dates, and this is by Jenny L. Howe. So, like I said, title caught me, that one for sure. And it says, in this charming new rom-com, a woman who's fed up with dating challenges her family and friends to set her up on 10 dates, but gets more than she bargained for when her best friend adds himself to the roster. So, I can only imagine. This is actually making me think about if I would challenge my family and friends to do this, and I think it might be a little terrifying. So, like I said, title caught me. I think that's a really interesting premise, and this would be along the lines of like a romance I would want to read. So there's that one. After that, we have Not in My Book, and this is by Katie Holt. So apparently it's a December 2024 Indie Next pick, and a Library Reads top pick for December. So if that catches your eye at all. But we have, it says Rosie writes romance novels and listens to Taylor Swift on loop. Aiden is a literary fiction writer who doesn't believe in happy endings. They're about to write a book together. What could go wrong? So this is giving me, I guess, well, not necessarily beach read vibes by Emily Henry, because they were trying to write each other's books. But I know, like, we've had somewhat premises like this before. It says The Hating Game meets beach read. Okay, so see, I was on the presses there, although I do not like the book The Hating Game, but take my opinion with a grain of salt, but I loved beach reads, so there's that. And it says, and this is going to be a sexy and hilarious enemies to lovers romance. Oh, and this is a debut, so very, very cool. Love that. All right, because I do always love to, feature a debut author here and there. All right, after that, excuse me, we have When We Had Forever, and this is by Shailin Gandhi. So First of all, this one caught my eye because the cover is beautiful, but it's said to be an emotionally powerful roller coaster of a novel about losing and finding love. And the reason it actually caught my eye was because it says it's perfect for fans of Colleen Hoover and Lucy Score. Now, once again, love Colleen Hoover, not a huge fan of Lucy Score. So we'll see if and when I pick this one up, what my feelings might be. I should say if or when, because I love to present these, but there's no guarantee that I'm actually going to read them. But it does say this is going to be perfect for fans of enemies to lovers, second chance romance, slow burns, forbidden love. And I also throw Mia Sheridan in there as well. I have read one Mia Sheridan. So it says 6 months after her husband died in a car crash, Mina Drake is still mirrored in a haze of grief. Reminders of her years with Michael are everywhere, but beneath her heartache lies an even more painful emotion. It's a guilty suspicion she can hardly admit to anyone, even herself, that her marriage was over long before Michael's accident. So I'll leave you there with that one. All right, after that, I don't remember if this one is YA or not, but this is You're Dead to Me, and this is by Amy Christine Parker. One reason this one caught my eye, it said it was Gossip Girl meets Happy Death Day. Oh yeah, in this YA horror. And so we're following a high school outcast and an anonymous social media gossip, Ruby, who comes face to face with her own ghost dressed in a blood-spattered prom dress. So these are my kind of YAs. I always say that. It says, with less than a week until the dance, Ruby must unmask her killer or die trying. So, like I said, I love a good YA thriller. I think I say that every time because those are usually the YA ones that end up on my list here. But yeah, that one definitely caught my attention. So there's that. And then last but certainly not least, the book of the books I found coming out on December 10th. This one, again, this cover is gorgeous. And that is The Champagne Letters, and this is by Kate McIntosh. So I loved this description. It said, perfect for fans of bubbly wine and Kristen Harmel, or Harmel, I always say it wrong, but I do like her books. It's going to be a historical fiction novel that follows, it's saying Mrs. in French, but Mame. I'm so sorry. I love our French teachers at school, but I didn't take French, I took German. And Cliquoy, as she builds her legacy and the modern divorcee who looks to her letters for inspiration. So I am thinking we're getting another dual timeline because it says 1805 in France and in present day Chicago. So dual timelines, historical fiction. That one, for some reason, it feels like it might be calling Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library's name, because I know she likes some historical fiction that has, dual perspectives and dual timelines. So there is that one. But those are all of the books that I found coming out on December 10th. All right, next up, I'm going to put 2 release dates in this one little clip together. So our next 2 release dates are December 17th and December 24th. So, the day before the Christmas holidays. So I only found 1 book per date coming out on these dates. So the first one being December 17th is Something Extraordinary, and this is by Alexis Hall. Now, Alexis Hall is well known for the boyfriend material, and it's following novels. So I know those ones are really popular. And now that I look at this, she does have a couple other ones that might be also very popular. But this one, Something Extraordinary, is part of the Something Fabulous book trio. So it is Something Fabulous, Something Spectacular, and Something Extraordinary now coming out on the 17th. So this one says it's going to be the adventure of 2 friends determined to avoid marriage to unsuitable people as they race through Regency England to marry each other instead. So I don't want to read too much more into it. I'm not quite sure if you have to read all of these in order. But yeah, that will be another book. I know she's a really popular author. I shamefully have not read anything by her, although I feel like one of them is sitting over here somewhere. But there is that one coming out on the 17th. And then the other one that comes out on December 24th is Watch Your Back. And this is by Terry Parlato, names, I'm telling you. So it says, This is going to be set in the bleak Boston winter. A recently married couple find their lives and their relationship unraveling after a series of deadly accidents. Says it's going to be a domestic thriller. Caught my eye because it says it's for fans of Stacey Willingham, Greer Hendricks, and Megan Miranda. Never read any Greer Hendricks, but I do really like Stacey Willingham and Megan Miranda. And so it looks like one of our main characters is going to be a psychiatrist. But let's see. So we also have a detective that might be involved. Let's see. Only as a deadly ice storm crashes through does it become clear how far from perfect even Nathan's lives really are. And as the cracks in the surface come to light, so do the sinister secrets that lie beneath. So, just something kind of fun that's coming out on the 24th. So, like I said, I was combining those two dates in this clip here, and those are two great sounding books coming out on the 17th and the 24th. All right, last and certainly not least for December, we have December 31st as our final December release date. Way to bring in the new year right on New Year's Eve. We have 4 wonderful books coming out. And the first of which I found is Where the Creek Bends, and this is by Linda Lael Miller. And it says, it is going to be a time slip novel about the family we create for ourselves. So I'm not sure if that means it's like time travel involved or what, but it says it's perfect for fans of second chances, family drama, small town settings, and possibly readers of Susan Mallory, Nicholas Sparks, and Ashley Poston, which I love that Amazon is starting to do that now. So it's giving you kind of like what could capture you in. And it says, this is going to show that finding yourself begins with following your heart, no matter where it leads. So let's see. So we have a woman that's being called back to Montana to care for her grandmother. She's called to her wedding and worries her dreams of a family are fading with it. So, but yeah, she's uncovering a lot of family secrets. So it sounded interesting to me. I had to add that one to the list. All right, after that, we have a book by an author that quite honestly, I'm not even sure if they've written anything else, but you may recognize their name. But let me tell you what it is. This is Eddie Winston is Looking for Love, and this is by Marianne Cronin. Now, Marianne Cronin wrote The 100 Years of Lenny and Margot, which I have not read. I know, I have the book on my shelf. I attempted to listen to the audiobook. I couldn't get into the audiobook, and I promised Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library that I would read it, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. But so this is the author of that book. Like I said, Eddie Winston is Looking for Love. And this is supposed to be a funny and uplifting story about the power of friendship and finding love in unexpected places. So it says Eddie Winston is 90 years old. He has lived and he has loved, but he has never been kissed. Okay. So it says a true gentleman and incurable romantic, Eddie spends his days volunteering at a charity shop where he sorts through the donations of the living and the dead, preserving letters and tokens of love along the way. And it is here that he meets Bella, a troubled young woman who, at 24 years old, has just lost the love of her life. So I'm not going to read too much more into it, but something tells me, similar to the Lenny and Margot story where they were, very different ages, we're going to get some sort of, deep connection in that respect. So there is that one. All right, after that, we have Better Than Revenge. Oops, I think I listed the wrong one here. Let me just edit that. You guys get all of the crazy around here. So we have Better Than Revenge, and this is by Casey West. Now, I have read a novel by Casey West before. I believe the one I have read is YA. I'm not quite sure about this one, but this says it is a new romance. So it says when her football player boyfriend and now ex lands the podcast job she's been dreaming of, a girl takes matters into her own hands by enlisting the help of his nemesis to get revenge. So I'm just trying to see here. It doesn't. Okay, it does list the years as 12 to 17, so this one is YA as well, but I liked her writing. I think the last one I read by her was like a camping themed one, and so I quite like, you know, those ones. So, and then last but certainly not least, what the other book that I found coming out on the 31st is Definitely Better Now, and it says this is a witty take on modern romance, and this is by Ava Robinson. Now, I've never heard of Ava Robinson before, but it says this is a touchly and deeply funny debut. That would be why, another debut. About starting over sober, only to discover life's biggest messes are still waiting right where you left them. So, something different, totally, you know, different than anything else that was on this list, and so I wanted to add it, you know, to the rest of the recommendations that I made for December. So those are all the books that I found coming out in the month of December. Now, this is by no means, you know, an exhausted list. There may be more than this. I know there was more than this because there are more that I found, but these are just the ones that I felt like mentioning. If you know of any others, feel free to let us know in the comments below, or if you even know, you know, some of the ones that were in series, if we need to read those in order or not. So, as always, if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.